Hey there, everyone, this is Mystic Fish, and welcome to episode 2 of our Factorio series where we're building self-building mining ships. This first episode seemed to gather quite a bit of interest, so welcome to everyone who's following along here. I'm excited about the challenge here. Just to address sort of a few questions folks have asked. They said, why are you limiting yourself to one cargo rocket? And, partially it's because seems like an interesting challenge, and just seeing what we can bootstrap ourselves seems like a cool design challenge. So that's sort of the major reason. But also I feel like the less we can depend on planetary resources, the more we'll be able to build and develop these in parallel. And so maybe at the end we'll see some obvious spots where we could, an extra payload of stuff from a planet could really speed things up. But I kind of want to push the design constraint to the max here. So let's see. Last episode, we managed to gather some basic smelted products. We can see that this believes it is done because it is giving us the green signal, so that's good. I also did a second copy to get up here in orbit, and which is likewise also done. And so I think this is how I'm planning to manage this. I'm just going to keep sort of a chain of these at each of the individual stages. And I'm going to use this one. It's marked the dev ship. So this is the one we're going to work out the designs and so on. And then once we have a blueprint, we're going to apply it to the sort of next ship in the chain to test it. At that point, so this is called phase 1 dev because we're about to develop phase 1. We'll apply the phase 1 blueprint here. We'll rename this one to phase 1, and then we'll launch a new one and make it be phase 0 again. And so we'll just get a nice little chain. That'll also make it possible, if we need to go back and change earlier blueprints, which as it happens, I actually want to do in this case, but I'll get to that into a moment. So, all right. So what do we need to do here? We have some smelted materials, but we didn't bring enough inserters to have both a furnace and an assembly machine running at the same time. So, and that was part of our plan was, and really, cutting down on the extra foundation or inserters or whatever that we would need, let us get like a bunch more furnaces up as in compensation. And these we can make inserters and platform up here, but we can't make more electric furnaces because they rely on stone products. So kind of wanted to maximize how many furnaces we could get up here just for the future. Okay, so I think what we're going to do here is, well, one of the things I want to do is I realized that I want to rearrange a couple of things here. And so I actually want this solar panel to be over one. And I want these inserters to be up here. And then I'm going to save that instead. And then I'll do the same thing over here. And I'll explain the reason why in just a second once I finish doing it. Okay, so the reason we want to do that is when we apply the blueprints, we're going to do it with force paste. And so we have to think a little bit about where we put stuff because pasting a blueprint doesn't really let you delete anything unless you are force pasting and something is going where something new is going into a place where something already exists. And in particular, you cannot delete space platform, or we will not be able to delete space platform foundation by applying blueprints. So we have to just think a little bit about where we want stuff to be. And so that's why I've repositioned these slightly. Okay, so let's start working on this. So really what we want to do here is we want to build just enough stuff so that we can also have an assembly machine running And we can at least get a little more circuitry set up. The circuitry management that we have here is like, we're having to do, I kind of feel like, a little bit of a unnaturally difficult acts to sort of put all the logic together to make this work. And with a few more combinators, it becomes much more easy to manage. So that's really what we're going to focus on, is sort of getting enough foundation and inserters and combinators to get things sort of properly circuited here. So, all right, I guess what I'm going to do while we're doing the design, I'm going to take the power out. And okay, so what we want to do is we want to put in an assembly machine. Now I'm going to force paste this. And so that will dislodge the furnace. And then I am also going to take a constant combinator and the decider combinator. I want to like redo all that. And so because everything is attached to one of those two things, if I just switch their positions, like that got rid of the decider combinator and that got rid of a lot of the wires already, then I can switch their positions and it disconnects all the wires and lets us reset them. Similarly, this guy had some circuit stuff on it because we were controlling what stuff wanted to be smelted. And so we can also force paste these two guys and switch them, and that will reset whatever settings they have on them. Okay. The last thing I want to do is I am going to reconnect up here for set filters. During this phase, we're just using the assembly machine. We don't need any more sort of crushing, smelting stuff going on. And so I just want to, and we won't send an asteroid signal, so this thing will not grab asteroids during this phase. And so that's just a way to sort of suppress things so they don't get out of hand. Okay, now let's see. Okay, how is this gonna work? So we're gonna have to manage the set of stuff we want and the dependencies for them as well here on this combinator. So what do we need to make? So I want to make, and we're going to reassign these numbers. So I want red inserters. So that's why one of the reasons I wanted to put the solar panel out here is that's actually where I want the furnace to go when we're done. And it's sort of one more tile out so that we can do two red inserters, one in and one out right here. And by pushing the machines out a little from the hub and using red inserters, we can actually get more machines around the hub. So that will, that's the main reason for doing that. And so that's the reason to position the solar panel there, is so that when we force paste the furnace in later, it will end up in the right place. Okay, so we're going to make those. In order to make those, we need yellow inserters and gears. In order to make yellow inserters, we need gears and green circuits. I am not going to worry here about the... and to make green circuits, we need copper cables. So I'm not going to worry about the iron plates. Yes, iron plates are an input to both of these things, but we've already smelted a bunch of plates, so we're not going to worry. We're not going to test them. We're just going to go under the assumption that past Mystic Fish did the calculations right, and we have enough iron plates for everything that we wanted to do. Okay, very good. What else do we want? Now I want my speaker. And so we need sticks for that. And then everything else we're already making. So then we can say we'll have a speaker. We're going to need some constant combinators as well as some decider combinators. So we're going to need 2 of these, 4 of these, and 1 arithmetic combinator. So like really the main thing we're focusing on here is actually being able to control stuff better. Or in a way that's easier to manage, really is what it boils down to. And then we're also going to need to make space platform to host a bunch of this stuff. Okay, so these are all of the recipes that we're going to set on the assembly machine. Now I'm going to give each of them odd numbers and a different odd number here. The order here, I have ordered them in sort of rough dependency order. It doesn't really matter, I think, for the way this is going to work and what the particular numbers are, but it is important that they be 2 apart from each other. They could be even if we wanted to. We could do 2, 4, 6, etc., and it would still work, but I like to do the odd numbers. Okay. I feel like I'm missing something. Oh yeah, I wanted to make a light. So we get a visual indicator too, and you know, lights are happy. Okay, so we'll make that be 15. This will be 17. This will be 19. 21 and 23. Okay, good. All right, now how is this going to work? So the red wire comes in here as before. We read the contents of the hub as before, but now we're going to add a loopback signal to this thing. Okay, so we're going to have pairs of signals is the way to think about it. And so this is going to work a little bit like an RS latch. And so let's start with gears. So the idea is they're going to come in pairs of conditions here, where it's when do I want to start making gears and when do I want to stop making gears. That's kind of the way that I think about it. So we're going to do the same each trick here that we saw on the first episode. Now, a commenter mentioned that what they like to do is to do this, for example, and say, just put a gear in there, checking for the red, which is the same as saying the red signal is 1. I can't use, and that's awesome. And I definitely want to use that for some of the other places that we're going to need to use that pattern in the future. It turns out I can't use that in this case because of the loopback. So I'll explain that in a minute. But the idea is that, and again, we're going to pass through one or more of these red signals here. Okay, so I'm going to start making gears if I have less than 4. There's nothing that takes 4 gears, but the thing that we have to work on is we need there to be enough gears such that that when we start on a recipe, we don't like run out of them and re-trigger the gear recipe. So I'll explain that. Maybe it'll be a little clearer later. There'll be a different point. So now we're also going to do 2. So it's like, well, wait a minute. There's no 2 in here. So where's the 2 come from? So the 2 comes from the 1 that's coming in from the constant combinator plus the 1 that came in from the output and came around on the loopback. And so the idea is if we are currently sending the gear signal, gears will be 1. Or sorry, if we are not sending it, gears will be 1. And so maybe we start sending it. Once we start sending it, gears will be 2. So this condition is how long do we continue sending it once we've started? And in this case, I'm going to say continue until you have at least 10. Once we've got 10, then neither one of these will be true. And we'll stop sending the gear signal. So that's how that will work. Okay. So then we just sort of do this for some of the other things here. The intermediates, you know, we could do a lot of work here and like very specifically figure out what state we're in and like, you know, only build exactly as many copper cables as we, you know, like all this kind of stuff. And, you know, it's just like a pain in the butt. So instead, I just said, you know what, I've got extras of this stuff. And so I'm just going to make it easy on myself and sort of manage to I'm just going to make stashes of the main intermediates and replenish them as we go. Okay, so we need at least 20 copper cable. The space platform recipe takes 20 copper cables, so we'll need that. And then we're actually going to stop when we get 75 copper cables, which seems like a lot, except that the thing that we have to watch out for is we don't want the copper cable recipe coming back on and interrupting the space platform recipe while it is loading copper cables. So we need to have enough copper cable such that the assembly machine can load enough copper cable to get the recipe started. Once the crafting starts, then the recipe won't get reset until the crafting finishes. But 75 seems to be enough to avoid that kind of recipe thrashing. Okay, then green circuits is next. And so this is going to be, we're going to start green circuits when we have fewer than 20. One of the things that I have, like as I was working out how to do this, I want to make 4 decider combinators, but it gets a little easier to manage if once I start making these, I make all of them. And so since there's 5 green chips each, I need at least 20 on hand. So that's why we're picking 20 green chips here. Then I'm going to continue those until I have at least 30. Okay, what's next? Okay, yellow inserters. All right, now we get to some interesting bits. Maybe the other stuff is already interesting. I don't know. Okay, when do we want to start making yellow inserters? So that's going to be if we don't have our 2. So I will make 2 red inserters. So if we don't have the 2 red inserters, and we also don't have the 2 yellow inserters that are going to be the ingredients. No, less than. These should all be less than. Okay, good. If we have less than 2 yellow inserters, but we also have to check that we have enough gears to make 2 yellow inserters, and that we have enough green chips to make 2 yellow inserters. And okay, so why are we checking this stuff? It's because the way that set recipe works here is if you send this assembly machine a bunch of signals, which one is it going to pick? Well, it's based on, if you just open sort of the sort of item menu here, it's based on whichever one has the lowest item index. And so the lowest one is the first item on the first page, which is wooden chests. So it doesn't matter what else you have. If you have wooden chests set, it's going to try to make wooden chests. Now, sometimes this works out okay. Like, for example, belts are lower than undergrounds, which is fine because, you know what, I need to make belts to make undergrounds. So it makes sense that I would need to build these first. I mean, that's fine. But all of the intermediates are up here, like gears, green circuits, all the stuff we were just doing, which means that if I send the inserter recipe to it, it will disrupt or take precedence over any of these recipes that are being sent. So that's why we want to only send the inserter signal when first we know we need inserters, and then second we know that we don't need any additional intermediates. Now, conversely, the stop condition for inserters is interesting because once we start loading stuff into the assembly machine, the counts of these will drop in the hub. And so actually, once we've started, we actually want to ignore how many gears and green circuits we are. We're going to have to assume that past Mystic Fish or, program things properly to have enough for us to finish doing what we want to do. And actually, the thing that makes us stop will be we want to keep going until we have the 2 inserters that we started with, that we wanted in the first place. Okay. So you can see like all of these conditions and managing the dependencies. This is why I don't want to do this, because these chains get pretty long. It's just barely bearable to get through this set of stuff, but then after this, I want my better circuits that sort of make things easier to manage. So I was idly wondering whether a constant combinator plus a decider combinator is Turing complete, for those of you who happen to study computer science topics, meaning you can represent any computation possible using these things. I don't know if that's true or not. I'm sure somebody has looked at that at some point, but not actually necessary now, because it's really less about can I express it and more of can I just get something that works to get me to enough circuitry that I can understand and manage it more effectively. Okay, so we're on red inserters. So I want to do this if I don't have my 2 red inserters yet. And I have the yellow inserters. And each one of these takes a gear, so I also need to make sure that I have the 2 gears I need. Okay, and then when do I stop the red inserters? I stop those when I have 2 of them. Less than 2. Right, keep going until you have 2. Okay, so far so good. So now sticks. These are going to work more like the other intermediates, like the gears and stuff. We have lots of extra iron, as it turns out. So no, that's not 4. That's 11. But I do want to start if I have fewer than 4. That's how many sticks we need for a speaker. And then the continuation is when it's 12. And we'll just go till we have like 10. Okay, good. Continuing on. Okay, speakers. When do we make speakers? So let's see. Because we're now starting to... All right, now we want to start managing the priorities of things. So I think we don't want to start making speakers until we have both of our red inserters. Then we can think about speakers. And then what do speakers take? I always forget. So we need 4 iron sticks, 5 copper cables, 4 green circuits. So we need to make sure we have all of those things. This is an and, so we need, what we say, 4 iron sticks. And, oh wait, there's one that comes before this. We need a speaker. Then we also need there to be 4 green chips. And at least 5 copper cable. Okay, and then we continue making the speakers. Until we have one. Okay. Lights. So we're going to start making lights if we don't have one. And we've already made the speaker. And let's see. Lights require 3 copper cables, 1 electric circuit. We have at least 3 copper cables. And we have at least 1 green circuit. Okay, that takes care of our ingredient prerequisites and the priority, and then we continue. When it's 16, we continue until we get a light. Okay, so far so good. Continuing on. Hopefully we see the pattern by now. Now we need to do the constant combinators. We need 2 of these. And so we only want to do this if we don't have 2. And we've made the light. I mean, in reality, I could make these more robust by adding more stuff. Like, I should really only do this if I have a light and a speaker and the inserters, etc. But I'm going to be lazy, so I'm not going to do that. Okay, these are 5 copper cables and 5 green circuits each, so that means we need to have at least 10 to make the 2. 10 of each. And then we continue. Until we have our 2 constant combinators. Whoops, where'd you go? This is less than 2. Okay, good. Moving right along. Next we have the decider combinators. So that's when it's 19. We only need this if we don't have the 4 we're looking for. Not 5, 4. And we've already made the constant combinators. And let's see. Now we're doing 4 of these, so... Oh, constant combinators are... They're a little cheaper, right? They only take 2 green circuits. So, okay, so then... Sorry, that's this guy, so I only need 4 of these. Okay, but I've made my constant combinators, and then I have my 20 copper cables, and my 20 green circuits. And then we're going to say continue making decider combinators until you have 4 of them. Okay, we're getting home stretch here. Okay, so each is 21, so these are the arithmetic ones. We only need to do this if we don't have any. And we're only allowed to do this if we have all of our decider combinators. And we have the 5 copper cables we need. And we have the 5 green chips we need. Right? Yes. And then continue making arithmetic combinators until you have one. And then finally, we can actually combine these. Because the space platform has of all the things we're making, it has the highest one. And so we can just kind of like turn it on. As long as we don't have as much as we want. Okay, so that will look like it's 23 or it's 24, which we can test this way. And that will just be sent until we need 27 by my calculations. Okay, I think that's it. I think that is what we want. We do need, oh, no. We have not accomplished everything yet because we also need the done signal. Or maybe I like the check mark. I like the green. Green's better to use because it is going to result in being able to make lights that are green. So May as well use that. We're actually gonna have to look for this one here on the combinator because like I said, I can't connect the red wire here. I can't connect the green wire without making a loop back around where the output of the recipe signals start to add on to the inventory. And I can't send I can't send a red signal because it will interfere with the loopback because the contents will also flow up the red signal. So, we just have to look here until we can build the speaker and the light, is what this boils down to. So, and then we come down here and we say set recipe. And I guess we cross our fingers. I think we can put the power back on. So let's see what happens. All right, we're beginning to make gears. Let's see what this is sending. That seems like a reasonable set of stuff. We're doing intermediates first, so that's okay. And here's an example where the sticks are being made before, right? Sticks are being made before copper cable. Copper cable is being made before green circuits. Okay. Let's see. So now we think this should go till like we have 75 cables, I think. We got more than 10 sticks, more than 10 gears. You can see it's not exact. And so having a little bit of extra material that we have smelted doesn't hurt. Green circuits, I think this will go. Oh, look at that. We had enough to make inserters. That's fun. Oh, now we're making the red inserters. Cool, cool, cool. I mean, we made more than we needed, again, because things are not exact. Replenishing the gears, even though we're actually done with the gears, but that's okay. Now building green circuits. I guess we're working on the speaker next. Like we may be able to just see this mostly finished. Okay, cool. I made our speaker. We'll get the extra materials back out. What's next? A light, I think. Although we need some more. I guess we had enough stuff for that. Okay, cool. Right, because now you only need 2 green chips for the. Oh no, I'm making more cable. I guess I must have fallen below 20 while making those 2 green chips. So now we get back up to 75 copper cables. I'm just watching what's going on down here in the lower right, by the way. And then we should make, I guess, 2 more green circuits will be enough to get us the constant combinators. And then we need to get to 20 green circuits, at least, in order to make the decider combinators. Actually, it's interesting the way this works. Like I had the green circuits stop at 30, but I don't think I probably didn't need to do that because the things that need green circuits all have lower item numbers, and so as soon as they had enough for their recipes, they would start. So I really only needed to get 20 green circuits. That's interesting. Do I care to optimize that? I'm gonna say no because I'm about to like this logic is going to last 1 phase. And we have an extra stuff, so this is going to work, and then we're gonna move on with our lives, folks, and just say good enough is good enough sometimes. especially for a temporary phase here. Okay, there's the decider combinators all came in. Cool stuff. Now we got under 20 cables at some point, so we gotta build up our stash of cables again. And then I guess we need to get to 5 green circuits to make the arithmetic combinator. And then after that, we're making space platform. This is looking good. Okay, I got my 5 circuits. There's the arithmetic. Excellent. And now from here out, I think it's just make copper cable. Oh, right, because I haven't finished discharging the green circuit requirements. Interesting, yeah. I could totally have simplified the green circuits a little bit. We're going to end up building a little extra, but not too much extra. I guess this is going to make 30. Well, maybe I will. Maybe I will fix it just so we don't have to wait for it. I do need at least 20. And I guess it could really stop once it got 22. I don't know. It does. Maybe it needs to go. Oh no, it's fine. It doesn't need more than 20. Because at that point, whatever it needs the 20 green circuits, which is the 4 decider combinators, we'll stop looking. Okay, so we got over 24. Yeah, like we don't need them anymore. Okay, so now that we should just be, yeah, copper and foundation. So now we're looking to get up over 75. And then we need to grind out 20 more space platform. Which that's going to take a bit. I'm not going to make us watch. I just want to see that it is successfully kicks off. Okay, recipe started. Great, we're making the space platform as well. So, okay, cool. This pretty much worked, which is good. So, I guess I'm gonna go off camera. We'll just let this finish, and I'll be back when the space platform is done, and we hopefully have a green signal showing up here. So stay tuned. Okay, we are back, and that basically worked. It almost worked. I mean, it worked, but we forgot something, which is that I added the green signal here, but I didn't put the logic for it. So I guess we can check our work here, right? So what we can do is we can say if we're 25 or we're 26. And what were our goals? We want to have at least 2 red inserters. We want to have at least 1 speaker. We want to have at least 1 light. We want to have at least 2 constant combinators. We want to have at least 4 decider combinators. We need at least 1 arithmetic combinator, and the final is that we have 27 space platform. If you remember, we had 7 left over, but we need 20 more, so we got 27, and in fact now we see the green signal. We're not sending this here anymore. Too bad. Okay, so let's take a blueprint of this. I think this one's right. Okay, that autosave was okay. So this is Belter class phase 1. So what were our little icon here? We're gonna say this is a Belter ship. And this is phase 1. Okay, so goal for this phase. Assemble enough platform and circuitry to enable simultaneous smelting and assembly. And so that is 2 long-handed inserters, 1 speaker, 1 light, 2 constant combinators, 4 decider combinators, 1 arithmetic combinator, and plus 20 space platform. Okay, yes, create blueprint. I guess you need to go there. Okay, so then what we're gonna do is we're gonna come over here. We're going to force paste, and we can see that's gonna get the inserters for the furnace itself, and then swap out the combinators. So we should do that. And then that guy's off and running. We're going to rename this guy to be phase 1 now. We're going to come down here. I'm just going to show you what we're going to be doing here. I probably won't do the whole like chain of upgrades every time, but I just sort of wanted to show you how I was managing this stuff. But this guy is now done, which is cool. We're going to test it here, especially with our adjusted number of green circuits. But I feel pretty good about that. I suppose there will be a brief addendum to the video if it ends up not working. Or maybe I will cover it at the beginning of the next episode. But we now have this guy here. We take this off. We're not doing any of that. We get rid of the extra foundation. And then we go back to our rocket here, our special rocket, and we deliver to him. We come back here and we can get our phase 0 blueprint going for that guy. And as soon as that rocket arrives, it'll start doing the phase 0. And so you can see we're going to end up with a chain of the designs here. And so I guess we can say, we can name this one will be phase 2 dev next. Since it's at phase 1, we're getting this one to phase 1, and we're getting this one to phase 0. And so that way we'll get a nice chain. And but I think that's enough for this episode. So this should hopefully, okay, yeah, you're trying to grab stuff. Okay, we've seen that before. That was last episode. So there we go. Initial assembly, check. So that's what we have for today. So as always, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Until then, bye.